While road trips and mobile living have always been a part of American culture, not every RV or motorhome built over the years was a dream on wheels. Some were poorly designed, unreliable, or simply impractical. Today, we're taking a look at the 15 worst American RVs and motorhomes in U.S. history, the ones that left owners stranded, frustrated, or regretting their purchase. Let's hit the road and check out these infamous failures. Watch the video to the end to see for yourself. The Chevrolet open-road motorhome was introduced in the 1970s during a time when the recreational vehicle RV market was booming. With the rise of the van life movement and Americans' increasing desire for long road trips, Chevy saw an opportunity to tap into this growing market. However, despite the bold move to combine their well-known automotive engineering with the motorhome lifestyle, the open road failed to live up to expectations. What was meant to be a versatile and comfortable home on wheels quickly became known for its shortcomings in both design and performance. One of the most glaring issues with the Chevrolet open road was its clunky, top-heavy design. This design flaw significantly affected the vehicle's handling, making it difficult to drive, especially at highway speeds or when navigating tight corners. With its tall and boxy frame, the open road was prone to swaying and instability, particularly in windy conditions or when making sharp turns. Drivers often reported a sense of insecurity when behind the wheel, as the motorhome's high center of gravity made it feel like it could tip over at any moment. This issue was especially concerning given the vehicle's size and weight, as even a slight miscalculation while driving could lead to a serious accident. The top-heavy design also contributed to other practical concerns. Parking and maneuvering the open road in tight spaces or campgrounds could be a nightmare for less experienced drivers. The bulkiness of the motorhome made it difficult to control in urban settings or crowded campgrounds, further limiting its practicality. For those embarking on long trips or cross-country adventures, these handling issues became a constant source of frustration and stress. Adding to the handling problems was the open road's outdated engine technology. Equipped with a V8 engine, which was standard for many large vehicles of the time, the open road struggled with power and reliability. The engine was often underpowered for the heavy load it had to carry, leading to sluggish acceleration and poor fuel efficiency. Given the size of the vehicle, fuel economy was already a concern, but the combination of poor aerodynamics and an inefficient engine made the open road particularly expensive to run. With gas prices rising in the 1970s, this added another layer of dissatisfaction for owners. The open road's engine wasn't just inefficient, it was also notoriously unreliable. Frequent breakdowns were a common complaint among owners, often occurring at the worst possible times while traveling. The vehicle's complex systems, paired with a tendency to overheat or suffer from mechanical failures, meant that travelers frequently found themselves stranded in the middle of nowhere, waiting for help. The frustration of dealing with constant mechanical issues overshadowed any sense of adventure that the motorhome was supposed to provide. Travelers who hope for a carefree, spontaneous road trip often face the harsh reality of being stuck in remote locations, their vacations derailed by breakdowns. Inside the open road, the problems didn't stop. While Chevrolet tried to make the motorhome comfortable and practical for long-distance travel, the interior design was just as flawed as the exterior. The cabin was cramped, with inefficient use of space. Although it was intended to offer the conveniences of home, the layout made it difficult for passengers to move around freely, and storage was inadequate for longer trips. The vehicle's suspension system, designed for a heavy load, further added to the discomfort. Passengers often reported a rough, bumpy ride, which made long trips unbearable. Additionally, the motorhome's heating and cooling systems were underwhelming. In the summer, the poorly insulated interior could become unbearably hot, and in the winter, it struggled to maintain warmth, making it less than ideal for year-round use. Travelers had to contend with these discomforts, further detracting from the idea of a relaxing, convenient journey. Chevrolet had initially marketed the open road as an all-in-one solution for families and adventurers looking to hit the road in style and comfort. However, its inability to deliver on these promises led to its downfall. Reviews from the time were less than glowing, and word quickly spread about the motorhome's numerous issues. Sales plummeted, and the model was quietly phased out, leaving the open road as a blip in Chevrolet's otherwise successful history. The Winnebago Laro, introduced in the early 1980s, is often remembered as a rare misstep in Winnebago's otherwise successful history of motorhome production. Known for creating iconic, dependable motorhomes, Winnebago ventured into new territory with the Laro, aiming to offer a compact, fuel-efficient RV at a time when consumers were concerned about fuel costs and looking for smaller, more economical recreational vehicles. However, despite the company's intent to create a lightweight, affordable motorhome, the Laro became notorious for its reliability issues, underpowered engine, and frequent mechanical problems. One of the biggest flaws of the Laro was its engine. Rather than equipping it with a more reliable powertrain, Winnebago partnered with Renault to use the French automaker's small, four-cylinder engine, which was significantly underpowered for the vehicle's needs. This Renault-sourced engine, designed more for small European cars than for a fully loaded motorhome, produced around 66 to 75 horsepower, depending on the model year. The Laro, while lighter than many of Winnebago's traditional motorhomes, still weighed enough to strain the engine, leading to sluggish performance, especially on inclines or highways. Owners found that the motorhome struggled to reach and maintain highway speeds, making long-distance travel stressful and slow. Even on flat terrain, the Laro's engine had trouble keeping up with traffic, and the lack of power made it difficult to overtake other vehicles or handle steep hills, a critical issue for anyone traveling cross-country or through mountainous regions. Beyond its lackluster power, the Renault engine in the Laro was also plagued by reliability issues. Owners quickly discovered that the motorhome was prone to frequent breakdowns, particularly with its engine and transmission components. The Laro's drivetrain was ill-suited for the demands placed on it by the weight and purpose of a motorhome, leading to an array of mechanical problems that required constant repairs. Some of the most common issues included overheating, premature transmission failures, and electrical system malfunctions, all of which made the Laro an unreliable vehicle for road trips. For a motorhome designed to enable long-distance travel, the frequent need for mechanical attention severely hampered its usability and led to frustration for owners. One of the most critical flaws that contributed to the Laro's reputation was its dependence on parts from Renault, which were often difficult to find in the US market. Since Renault was not a widely supported brand in the United States, replacement parts were expensive and could take a long time to source, making repairs both costly and inconvenient. As a result, many Laro owners found themselves stuck in small towns, waiting for specialized parts to arrive, turning what should have been a leisurely vacation into a mechanical nightmare. The high cost of keeping the Laro running negated much of its initial appeal as an affordable and economical motorhome, as maintenance expenses quickly added up, and downtime became a common frustration. The interior of the Laro, while compact and efficient in its design, also had limitations. Winnebago attempted to maximize the use of space in the small motorhome, but the result was often cramped living quarters. The compact size made it easier to maneuver compared to traditional RVs, but the trade-off was a lack of comfort. The living area, kitchen, and sleeping quarters were all tightly packed, which made longer stays or full-time living in the Laro less than ideal. It worked for short trips or solo travelers, but fell short for families or those looking for more spacious, comfortable accommodations during their travels. In terms of handling, while the Laro was more agile than larger RVs, its ride quality left much to be desired. The suspension, again designed for a much smaller vehicle, struggled under the weight of the motorhome, leading to a rough and bumpy ride, especially on uneven roads. Passengers often complained about the jarring experience, particularly on longer trips. This, coupled with the already unreliable engine, made the Laro a challenge for those seeking a smooth and relaxing journey. The motorhome's narrow frame, while designed to improve fuel efficiency, also contributed to a sense of instability on the road, especially when passing large trucks or navigating windy conditions. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the flaws of the Laro had become widely known, and sales began to dwindle. Winnebago attempted to address some of the concerns by offering later models with upgraded engines and transmissions. but the damage to its reputation had already been done. Many of the owners who had been enticed by the Laro's promise of compact efficiency were disappointed by the reality of its poor performance and high maintenance costs. The GMC Motor Home, produced between 1973 and 1978, was a bold and futuristic design, unlike anything else on the road at the time. As the only motorhome ever built entirely by a major automobile manufacturer, it represented a significant departure from traditional motorhome construction, which typically involved aftermarket companies converting truck or van chassis. The sleek, aerodynamic exterior, front-wheel drive system, and innovative air suspension made the GMC Motorhome a standout in terms of design. But unfortunately, the vehicle's bold engineering choices led to significant mechanical challenges that overshadowed its initial appeal. One of the most notable features of the GMC Motorhome was its futuristic appearance. Unlike the boxy, utilitarian RVs of the era, the GMC had a low-slung, streamlined profile with large wraparound windows that gave it a space-age look. Its fiberglass and aluminum body helped reduce weight and improve fuel efficiency, a significant advantage during the fuel crisis of the 1970s. Inside, the motorhome was similarly ahead of its time, offering a spacious, open layout with modern amenities. With layouts designed for comfort and convenience, the GMC Motorhome was marketed as a luxurious, road-ready home that could turn long-distance travel into a glamorous experience. However, beneath this stylish exterior, the GMC Motorhome was plagued by a host of reliability issues, particularly with its air suspension system and drivetrain. The motorhome was equipped with an innovative air suspension setup that aimed to provide a smooth ride even on rough terrain. By using airbags instead of traditional steel springs, the GMC Motorhome was designed to offer superior ride quality and handling compared to other RVs of the time. Unfortunately, this system often malfunctioned. The airbags were prone to leaks and failures, which led to the motorhome sagging unevenly or losing suspension altogether. Owners frequently found themselves dealing with costly repairs to the air suspension, which proved difficult to maintain and expensive to fix. When the air suspension system failed, it not only compromised ride comfort, but also affected the vehicle's drivability. A malfunctioning air suspension could cause the motorhome to handle poorly, making it challenging to control on the road, especially at higher speeds. The combination of the motorhome's large size and unpredictable suspension made for a nerve-wracking driving experience for many owners, who often struggled to keep the vehicle stable and level. This was particularly problematic for a motorhome intended for long-distance travel, where comfort and stability were essential. The GMC Motorhome's drivetrain also contributed to its mechanical woes. The vehicle used a front-wheel drive setup based on the Oldsmobile Toronado's powertrain, with a 455 cubic inch, 7.5-liter V8 engine mated to a TH425 automatic transmission. While the front-wheel drive configuration was meant to provide better traction and allow for a lower floor, increasing interior space, it proved to be a source of headaches for many owners. The drivetrain, which was not originally designed for the heavy loads carried by a motorhome, was prone to failures under stress. The transmission and engine, while powerful enough to move the vehicle, often suffered from overheating and other mechanical issues, especially during long trips or when climbing steep inclines. Repairing these issues was another significant drawback. The GMC Motorhome's unique design meant that standard RV repair shops were often ill-equipped to handle its mechanical needs. Many parts, particularly those related to the drivetrain and suspension, were specialized and difficult to source, leading to long repair times and high costs. Owners frequently reported that their motorhomes spent more time in the shop than on the road, leading to frustration and disappointment. The combination of the air suspension and drivetrain problems led to a reputation for unreliability that tarnished the GMC Motorhome's legacy. Despite its cutting-edge design and luxurious features, the frequent mechanical failures left many owners feeling like they had invested in a vehicle that was more trouble than it was worth. The motorhome's complex systems required constant attention and maintenance, which detracted from the carefree, adventurous spirit that RV travel was supposed to embody. Over time, some enthusiasts and collectors have managed to restore and maintain their GMC motorhomes, appreciating them for their unique design and historical significance. However, the high cost of upkeep and the difficulty in finding replacement parts continue to make the GMC motorhome a challenging vehicle to own. Despite its shortcomings, the motorhome retains a certain cult appeal among fans of vintage RVs and automotive design. The 1997 Fleetwood Bounder is remembered not for its potential as a spacious, accessible motorhome, but for the significant quality control issues that plagued many owners. This RV, part of Fleetwood's long-standing Bounder lineup, was intended to offer comfortable long-distance travel at a relatively affordable price. However, the cost-cutting measures taken in its construction led to a host of problems that left many owners facing frequent, expensive repairs and a frustrating ownership experience. At the heart of the 1997 Fleetwood Bounder's issues was poor build quality, particularly evident in the materials used for its construction. Many owners found that the RV's exterior components, including the siding and roof, were prone to premature wear and deterioration. One of the most common complaints involved leaky roofs, which were often due to inadequate sealing and low-grade materials. These leaks, when left unchecked, caused water damage to the interior, leading to costly repairs for issues like mold, rot, and electrical damage. For an RV designed for extended road trips and outdoor adventures, a leaky roof was a critical flaw that undermined its utility and comfort. In addition to the leaky roofs, the 1997 Bounder suffered from a range of other quality-related problems. The interior materials, from cabinetry to upholstery, were often described as flimsy and easily worn down. Over time, many owners reported cabinets that wouldn't stay closed, countertops that chipped or cracked, and fabrics that quickly showed signs of wear and tear. These issues not only detracted from the aesthetic appeal of the RV, but also affected its overall functionality. An RV's interior is meant to withstand constant use during travel, but the Bounder's interior components simply didn't hold up to regular wear, leaving many buyers disappointed. Mechanically, the Bounder also had its share of issues. While the chassis and engine were generally reliable, owners frequently faced problems with the RV's electrical system, appliances, and plumbing. Faulty wiring led to flickering lights, malfunctioning appliances, and in some cases, complete power failures. The water system, too, was prone to leaks, with poor quality fittings and pipes that were susceptible to breaking or disconnecting. These mechanical and electrical issues required constant attention, leading to a significant amount of downtime and frequent trips to repair shops. The root of these problems could be traced back to Fleetwood's decision to cut costs in the production of the Bounder, a move that sacrificed long-term durability for short-term affordability. The company's focus on keeping the price competitive meant using lower-grade materials and assembly techniques, resulting in an RV that simply couldn't stand the test of time. While the Bounder may have been attractively priced initially, the ongoing costs of maintenance and repair often far outweighed any savings, leaving many owners frustrated with the long-term value of their purchase. Beyond the mechanical and material issues, the 1997 Bounder was also criticized for its handling and road performance. Like many large motorhomes of the era, the Bounder was heavy and difficult to maneuver, with a suspension system that often felt inadequate for the weight it was carrying. On long trips, owners frequently complained about the uncomfortable ride, excessive body roll, and the RV's tendency to sway in windy conditions. Combined with the mechanical failures and quality control problems, the poor driving experience only added to the dissatisfaction of many owners. Despite its problems, the 1997 Fleetwood Bounder remains a popular model for those willing to invest the time and money into repairs and upgrades. For enthusiasts who enjoy restoring and customizing older RVs, the Bounder can serve as a blank canvas. However, for the average owner expecting a dependable motorhome right off the lot, the 1997 Bounder often fell far short of expectations. In the end, the 1997 Fleetwood Bounder is a cautionary tale of how cutting corners in production can lead to long-term headaches for consumers. While it offered a budget-friendly entry into the world of RV ownership, its poor build quality and frequent mechanical issues meant that owners paid the price in the form of constant repairs and frustrations. For those seeking a reliable, long-lasting motorhome, the 1997 Bounder was, unfortunately, a disappointment that serves as a reminder of the importance of quality over cost-cutting in vehicle production. The Dodge Chinook was introduced as a compact, versatile RV intended to blend the maneuverability of a smaller vehicle with the comfort of a recreational motorhome. On paper, it seemed to be a promising solution for adventurers who wanted a more agile, fuel-efficient vehicle for road trips and camping without sacrificing the conveniences of a motorhome. However, despite its potential, the Chinook ultimately fell short in several key areas, leaving many owners disappointed and frustrated. One of the primary issues with the Dodge Chinook was its cramped interior. While compactness can be an advantage in terms of driving and parking, the Chinook's small size translated into a lack of livable space. The interior felt tight and confining, particularly for longer trips. The seating arrangements and sleeping areas were limited, often requiring makeshift solutions like folding down seats or converting tables into beds. For couples or small families, the Chinook quickly became a challenge in terms of comfort, especially when compared to larger RVs or even some of its direct competitors in the compact RV market. The lack of storage was another frequent complaint. In an RV, storage is essential for stowing camping gear, food, clothing, and other travel essentials. However, the Chinook's limited cabinet space and small storage compartments made packing for a longer trip difficult. Owners often had to resort to creative solutions, utilizing every available nook and cranny to store even the most basic necessities. This lack of storage detracted from the overall usability of the vehicle, making it a less practical option for those looking to take extended trips or bring along more than the bare essentials. Another significant drawback was the Dodge Chinook's poor fuel efficiency. Despite its compact size, the Chinook's engine struggled to deliver good mileage, particularly when loaded with passengers and gear. The fuel-hungry engine was a common point of frustration for owners who had hoped the smaller size would mean lower running costs. Instead, they found themselves frequently stopping for fuel, a costly inconvenience that negated one of the supposed advantages of owning a smaller RV. The Chinook's relatively heavy weight, combined with its underpowered engine, led to sluggish performance on the road, further compounding the dissatisfaction of many owners. Perhaps the most significant issue with the Dodge Chinook was its reliability. Mechanical problems were a frequent complaint among owners, with many reporting engine failures, transmission issues, and frequent breakdowns. The Chinook's Dodge chassis and engine were not as dependable as some other RV platforms, and the vehicle was prone to overheating and other technical malfunctions. This lack of reliability led to frequent trips to the mechanic, with many owners citing costly and time-consuming repairs. For those who had purchased the Chinook with the intent of hitting the open road for carefree adventures, the constant worry of mechanical failure was a major letdown. The poor performance of the Chinook's engine was especially problematic for those who planned to travel in more demanding environments, such as mountainous regions or remote camping sites. The RV's weak engine and poor handling made it difficult to tackle steep grades or rough roads, and many owners found themselves avoiding more adventurous routes for fear of getting stranded. This lack of confidence in the vehicle's abilities further diminished its appeal as a versatile, go-anywhere RV. In terms of aesthetics and design, the Dodge Chinook also struggled to stand out. While it wasn't particularly ugly, it lacked the distinctive style or flair that other RVs had, and its boxy utilitarian look didn't help it win over potential buyers. Inside, the cramped layout and outdated materials didn't convey the sense of luxury or comfort that many RV enthusiasts were looking for, making it feel more like a budget option than a high-quality recreational vehicle. Despite these issues, the Dodge Chinook did have a few redeeming qualities. Its small size and compact design made it easier to park and navigate through urban areas or tight campgrounds than larger RVs. For those who only needed a simple, no-frills camper for short trips, the Chinook could still provide basic functionality. However, for the majority of buyers looking for a dependable and comfortable RV for extended travel, the Chinook's shortcomings were too significant to overlook. Ultimately, the Dodge Chinook remains a prime example of an RV that promised versatility and convenience, but failed to deliver in crucial areas. Its cramped interior, lack of storage, poor fuel efficiency, and frequent mechanical issues left many owners regretting their purchase. While it may have had potential, the Chinook's execution fell short, making it a cautionary tale for those in the market for a compact motorhome. Airstream has long been synonymous with sleek, well-crafted RVs, with its iconic aluminum shell becoming a hallmark of quality and style. Known for its durable and aerodynamic travel trailers, Airstream built a loyal following among road travelers and adventurers who appreciated the brand's attention to detail and the craftsmanship of its aluminum-clad RVs. However, in 1988, the Airstream LYacht motorhome was released, and it quickly became a notable misstep in the company's otherwise stellar history. Far from living up to Airstream's storied reputation, the LYacht suffered from a host of issues that left owners disappointed and frustrated. One of the most persistent problems with the 1988 Airstream LYacht was its notorious electrical system. Electrical failures were frequent and plagued almost every aspect of the vehicle, from interior lighting to more critical systems such as the air conditioning and power outlets. Owners reported that the wiring was prone to shorts, and many found themselves frequently dealing with malfunctioning equipment. This lack of reliability in the electrical system made the LYacht a headache for anyone hoping for a smooth, trouble-free experience on the road. Compounding the electrical woes were persistent engine troubles. The LYacht was built on a platform equipped with a gasoline engine that struggled to keep up with the demands of such a large vehicle. The engine's lack of power was a common complaint, with many owners finding that the motorhome couldn't handle hills or highway speeds without significant strain. The underpowered engine left many Airstream enthusiasts feeling like they had been sold a vehicle that wasn't up to par with the company's usual standards. For an RV designed to offer luxury on the open road, the constant fear of engine problems took much of the joy out of traveling. The LYacht's mechanical issues didn't end with the engine. Transmission problems, such as slipping gears and overheating, were also common, forcing owners to deal with expensive and time-consuming repairs. Many who had invested in the LYacht expecting the durability and dependability of Airstream's travel trailers found themselves dealing with constant breakdowns and unreliable performance. This was especially disappointing for a brand that had built its name on long-lasting, dependable vehicles capable of withstanding years of use. Another area where the 1988 Airstream LYacht fell short was in its overall power management and fuel efficiency. The engine, while underpowered for its size, was also a gas guzzler, leaving owners with dismal fuel economy that made long trips more costly than anticipated. With its lackluster powertrain, the LYacht felt sluggish and ill-equipped for handling the demands of both short and long-haul travel, and the poor fuel efficiency only added to the financial burden of owning and operating the motorhome. The interior of the LYacht, while spacious, suffered from a lack of refinement, especially when compared to the high-quality finishes Airstream customers had come to expect. Many owners noted that the materials used inside felt cheap, with flimsy cabinetry, uncomfortable seating, and a lack of thoughtful design touches that would have made the RV more livable on extended trips. This was a stark contrast to Airstream's travel trailers, which were often lauded for their well-appointed interiors, clever use of space, and high-quality fixtures. The overall lack of power and the prevalence of mechanical issues made the 1988 LYacht a disappointment for those who had expected the same level of luxury and performance that Airstream had built its name on. While the sleek, aerodynamic exterior of the LYacht resembled Airstream's beloved aluminum trailers, the motorhome's inner workings failed to live up to the brand's reputation. The ongoing maintenance problems, coupled with the engine's lack of power, left many owners feeling like they had made a poor investment, especially given the premium price tag that came with the Airstream name. In retrospect, the 1988 LYacht stands as a rare misfire in Airstream's lineup. It was a model that failed to deliver the dependability and quality the brand had become known for, and it tarnished the company's reputation in the motorhome sector. For many buyers, the promise of an Airstream motorhome quickly turned into a frustrating reality of frequent repairs, costly upkeep, and a vehicle that lacked the power and reliability necessary for cross-country travel. Though Airstream would go on to make improvements in later models, the 1988 LYacht remains a cautionary tale of what happens when a trusted brand deviates from its core strengths. Starcraft has long been a popular name in the world of pop-up campers, particularly for outdoor enthusiasts looking for a compact, lightweight solution for camping trips. Known for its affordability and ease of towing, Starcraft pop-up campers were favored by those who wanted the flexibility of a camper without the bulk of a traditional. However, not all models were created equal, and the Starmaster 6 from the 1970s is one that struggled to live up to the reputation of its more reliable counterparts. Despite its initial appeal, the Starmaster 6 faced significant durability and mechanical issues, leaving many owners frustrated and disappointed after just a few uses. One of the biggest issues with the Starmaster 6 was its weak frame, which caused problems from the moment it hit the road. The frame's construction was not built to handle the stresses of frequent travel, leading to sagging and even structural warping over time. Owners quickly found that the frame's insufficient strength could result in bending, particularly under the weight of its own mechanisms and the strain of being towed long distances. This left the camper vulnerable to more significant damage, as the frame's instability compromised its overall integrity. The long-term effect was often costly repairs, or in some cases, campers that became completely unusable after just a few seasons. In addition to its flimsy frame, the Starmaster 6 was notorious for its unreliable lift system, which was a critical part of setting up and taking down the camper. The lift mechanism, responsible for raising and lowering the roof, was prone to frequent failures. The system would often jam, refuse to lock into place, or break down entirely, making it difficult to extend the canvas walls and set up camp. After just a few trips, many owners found that the lift system required constant repairs, and it became an arduous task to assemble what was supposed to be a convenient pop-up experience. For families relying on the quick setup of a pop-up camper, the Starmaster 6's unreliable lift system was a major disappointment. The camper's canvas walls, a defining feature of any pop-up, were also a source of frustration. The material used in the Starmaster 6 was thin and prone to tearing easily. Even light exposure to the elements, such as sun, rain, or wind, could cause the canvas to wear out rapidly. Over time, the fabric would develop small rips and tears, leading to further deterioration. For a camper designed to be used in the great outdoors, the poor quality of the canvas was a significant flaw. This made it particularly troublesome for campers facing unpredictable weather, as they had little protection against the elements. Even simple wear and tear from folding and unfolding the canvas contributed to its short lifespan. Another design flaw was the poorly engineered mechanical components, which extended beyond just the lift system. The stabilizers, designed to keep the camper level and secure, were often difficult to adjust and prone to malfunctioning. Many owners reported that the stabilizers didn't properly lock into place, leading to an unsteady, wobbly camper when set up at a campsite. This lack of stability created a less than ideal camping experience, especially for families or individuals hoping for a safe and comfortable environment. The frustration of constantly dealing with broken or malfunctioning stabilizers only added to the overall disappointment of owning the Starmaster 6. While the Starmaster 6 had the potential to be an affordable, practical option for campers, its numerous design and mechanical issues severely hindered its performance. What should have been a quick and easy setup for weekend getaways often turned into a battle with failing components and unreliable parts. The weak frame, coupled with a faulty lift system, made the camper a hassle to use, while the easily torn canvas further diminished its appeal. For many, the promise of convenience and durability quickly gave way to regret as the camper's flaws became apparent after only a few trips. By the time the Starmaster 6's shortcomings became widely known, Starcraft's reputation had taken a hit in the pop-up camper market. Though the company would eventually address some of the issues in later models, the Starmaster 6 remains a prime example of a product that fell short of expectations, leaving many buyers feeling that they had invested in a camper that couldn't deliver on its promises. The Daybreak was marketed as an entry-level motorhome, intended to appeal to those looking to enter the RV lifestyle without breaking the bank. At first glance, it seemed to offer everything a novice traveler would need: a spacious interior, essential amenities, and a price tag lower than many of its competitors. However, the Daybreak quickly gained a notorious reputation as one of the most disappointing RVs of its time due to an overwhelming number of issues that plagued owners. From shoddy construction to frequent breakdowns, the motorhome soon became a symbol of poor quality and unmet expectations in the RV world. One of the most common complaints from Daybreak owners was the overall cheap construction of the vehicle. While the motorhome was designed to be affordable, the savings often came at the expense of quality materials and craftsmanship. The interior featured flimsy cabinetry and low-grade fixtures that would easily break or come loose after just a few trips. The flooring would often warp, and many owners reported problems with doors and windows that wouldn't close properly or stay latched. Over time, even basic use of the motorhome revealed the corners that had been cut during its assembly, leaving buyers feeling like they had purchased a vehicle that wasn't built to last. The problems didn't stop with the interior. Many Daybreak models were notorious for exterior issues as well, particularly with the roof and sidewalls. The materials used to construct these parts of the motorhome were prone to leaks, which led to water damage after even mild exposure to rain. Owners frequently reported that the roof seals were poorly applied or deteriorated quickly, allowing moisture to seep in and cause significant damage to the motorhome structure. In some cases, this water damage became so severe that it led to mold and rot, requiring expensive repairs that many new owners weren't prepared for. For a vehicle designed to travel and face the elements, these leaks and the resulting damage were unacceptable. Mechanical reliability was another major concern for Daybreak owners. The motorhome often suffered from frequent breakdowns, even early in its use. Problems with the engine, transmission, and electrical systems were common, and many owners found themselves visiting repair shops far more often than they had anticipated. The motorhome's drivetrain and chassis components were known to fail unexpectedly, sometimes leaving travelers stranded far from home or in remote areas. The cost of these mechanical issues quickly added up, making the Daybreak far from the affordable option it was advertised to be. The electrical system was a particular pain point for many. Owners reported issues with faulty wiring, malfunctioning appliances, and inconsistent power distribution throughout the motorhome. These problems made it difficult to rely on the motorhome systems during trips, with electrical failures often disrupting essential functions like lighting, refrigeration, and heating. For a vehicle designed to be a home away from home, these issues seriously affected the overall experience, making the Daybreak far less comfortable and reliable than it should have been. Adding to the frustrations of Daybreak owners was the poor customer support from Damon, the company responsible for manufacturing the motorhome. When owners encountered problems, whether it was a leaky roof, broken interior fixtures, or mechanical failures, many found that Damon's customer service was unresponsive or unhelpful. Warranty claims were often delayed or denied, leaving owners to cover the costs of repairs out of pocket. For those who had purchased the motorhome expecting it to be covered by a reliable support network, the lack of assistance from the manufacturer was a significant source of disappointment and frustration. It seemed as though once the motorhome was sold, Damon had little interest in helping owners address the many issues they encountered. Ultimately, the Damon Daybreak's combination of poor construction, mechanical failures, and lack of customer support led to its widespread reputation as one of the worst RVs of its era. While its affordable price point may have attracted buyers initially, the long-term costs, both financial and emotional, left many owners advising against purchasing one. The motorhome's numerous flaws made it a source of regret for those who had hoped it would serve as a dependable entry into the world of RV travel, instead becoming a cautionary tale about the dangers of choosing affordability over quality. Airstream's foray into the affordable motorhome market with the Argy was a notable attempt to broaden their customer base, but it fell short of delivering the high standards typically associated with the brand. The Argy was designed to offer the iconic Airstream look and feel at a more budget-friendly price, but several fundamental issues hindered its success and left many owners dissatisfied. Exterior and build quality. The Argy's aluminum exterior, while reminiscent of the classic Airstream design, proved to be more of a liability than an asset. Unlike the more robust Airstream trailers, the aluminum panels on the Argy were prone to denting and damage from minor impacts. This made the motorhome susceptible to unsightly and structural issues over time. The thin, lightweight material did not hold up well against the rigors of travel, leading to a deterioration of the vehicle's exterior appearance. and potentially compromising its long-term durability. Interior quality. Inside, the Argy was marked by a noticeable drop in build quality compared to Airstream's higher-end models. The interiors were constructed with cheaper materials and finishes, which contributed to a less refined and less durable living space. The cabinetry, upholstery, and fixtures lack the attention to detail and quality control found in Airstream's more premium offerings. As a result, owners often reported issues with wear and tear, such as peeling finishes, malfunctioning appliances, and general interior wear that diminished the motorhome's appeal and functionality. Performance and handling. One of the most significant drawbacks of the Argy was its underpowered engine. Designed to move a relatively heavy vehicle, the engine struggled to provide adequate performance, particularly on long road trips or when climbing steep inclines. The motorhome's sluggish acceleration and lack of power made driving less enjoyable and posed challenges for those who needed to cover substantial distances. This issue was compounded by the motorhome's weight, which further strained the engine and affected overall handling. Long-distance travel. Given its performance limitations and the challenges associated with its build quality, the Argy was not well suited for frequent or long-distance travel. The combination of an underpowered engine and fragile exterior meant that trips could become arduous and frustrating. Owners often found themselves dealing with mechanical issues or worrying about potential damage to the vehicle, detracting from the enjoyment of their travel experiences. Market reception. Despite its attempt to provide a more affordable option, the Argy struggled to capture the market's interest. The compromises made in terms of build quality and performance were too significant for many buyers, who found that the motorhome did not live up to the expectations set by Airstream's reputation. The issues with durability and reliability overshadowed the advantages of a lower price point, leading to a less favorable reception in the RV community. In summary, Airstream's Argy was a bold attempt to create a more accessible motorhome option, but ultimately fell short of delivering the quality and performance that the brand is known for. The motorhome's easily dented exterior, subpar interior construction, and underwhelming engine performance resulted in a product that did not meet the needs of many RV enthusiasts. The Argy's failure to uphold Airstream's high standards left it as a cautionary example of how cost-cutting measures can impact the overall success of a vehicle. The Fleetwood Tooga, particularly the 1999 model, is a vehicle that brings back memories, though not all of them are fond ones. For those who were first introduced to this motorhome, it symbolized the allure of the open road, the freedom to go wherever your heart desired, and the promise of adventure. There's something undeniably appealing about the idea of a home on wheels, where every day holds the possibility of a new destination, where you can wake up by a mountain one morning and by the ocean the next. The Tooga, at least in the minds of many prospective buyers, represented that romantic dream of travel without boundaries, of nights spent under starlit skies, campfires crackling in the distance, and mornings spent sipping coffee while overlooking some picturesque landscape. For many, purchasing a motorhome like the Fleetwood Tooga was not just a practical decision, it was emotional. It was the start of something new, a transition from the routine of daily life to a lifestyle filled with endless possibility. Families dreamed of summers spent exploring national parks, couples envisioned long weekends away from the hustle and bustle of the city, and retirees saw it as the perfect vessel to finally live out their golden years in perpetual motion. It was an investment not only in a vehicle, but in a dream of freedom, exploration, and escape from the mundane. But for many who bought the 1999 Fleetwood Tooga, that dream was quickly tempered by a much harsher reality. The moment they took possession of their shiny new motorhome, the problems began to surface. What should have been a carefree experience of packing up and hitting the road was overshadowed by a growing list of issues that seemed to plague the Tooga from the very start. The most notorious and frustrating of these issues were the roof leaks. Motorhomes are supposed to be shelters on wheels, protecting their occupants from the elements. Yet for those with the 1999 Tooga, rain was often the enemy. The roof, which should have provided a sturdy barrier against the weather, failed time and time again. No matter how well it seemed to be sealed or maintained, water found its way inside, dripping into the interior, soaking upholstery, damaging fixtures, and leaving unsightly stains. For many owners, this wasn't an occasional inconvenience, it was a constant battle. Every time the clouds darkened, there was a sense of dread. Would the leaks return? Would their belongings stay dry? The worry of water damage turned what should have been peaceful nights in the wilderness into anxious nights of catching water in buckets and trying to salvage what they could. And the roof leaks were just the beginning. As time went on, owners began to discover more and more flaws in the 1999 Tooga. Appliances, which were supposed to bring the comforts of home to the road, proved unreliable at best. Refrigerators struggled to maintain temperature, sometimes freezing food solid or, worse, failing entirely, spoiling groceries in the middle of a trip. Ovens and stoves, which should have made cooking meals on the go convenient, often malfunctioned or wouldn't light properly. Heaters, which were critical for those cool nights in the mountains or during early spring camping trips, would quit without warning, leaving owners shivering and searching for solutions. And then there was the electrical system, which might have been one of the most frustrating aspects of the Tooga's flawed design. A motorhome's electrical system is its lifeblood, powering everything from lights to appliances to air conditioning and heating. But in the 1999 Tooga, the wiring was prone to failure. Lights would flicker unpredictably, outlets would short out, and in some cases, the entire electrical system would shut down, leaving owners without power when they needed it most. Imagine being miles from the nearest town, parked at a remote campsite, only for the lights to dim, the fridge to die, and the heater to stop working. It wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a safety hazard. Without reliable power, many of the comforts of home were stripped away, and the sense of independence that RV owners value was lost. For many owners, these issues added up to a frustrating and expensive ownership experience. What was supposed to be a vehicle for carefree travel quickly became a source of constant maintenance. Rather than spending weekends exploring new destinations, many found themselves spending their time in repair shops or on the phone with technicians, trying to diagnose the latest problem, and the repairs weren't cheap. Roof leaks required resealing or even complete roof replacements. Electrical issues necessitated rewiring, and defective appliances often had to be replaced entirely. For those who had invested in the Tooga with the hopes of a leisurely, nomadic lifestyle, the mounting costs were a bitter pill to swallow. The 1981 holiday Rambler Imperial entered the market with grand promises of luxury and comfort, aimed at satisfying the needs of those seeking a higher-end RV experience. For many, the name Holiday Rambler evoked images of sophisticated travel, where owners could enjoy the convenience and elegance of a home on wheels while exploring the open road. The Imperial model, in particular, was marketed as a pinnacle of class, offering a higher standard of living for those who wanted to blend luxury with mobility. But while the exterior gave an impression of grandeur, the reality of owning the 1981 Holiday Rambler Imperial often fell far short of expectations. One of the most glaring issues was its outdated technology. Even by the standards of the early 1980s, the Imperial seemed to lag behind its competitors. The vehicle's systems, from its electrical setup to its engine performance, felt stuck in an era that had already passed. While other RV manufacturers were beginning to experiment with more innovative solutions and upgrades to improve efficiency and ease of use, the Imperial clung to older methods that quickly proved inadequate. Owners who had hoped for a cutting-edge experience often found themselves battling with outdated controls, temperamental systems, and components that seemed far more complex and unreliable than they should have been. Fuel efficiency, or rather the lack thereof, was another major sticking point for many Holiday Rambler Imperial owners. At a time when the world was becoming increasingly conscious of fuel consumption, driven by the oil crises of the 1970s, a gas-guzzling RV was not what most buyers were looking for. The Imperial's design was heavy, bulky, and incredibly inefficient on the road. Its massive weight, coupled with an engine that was far from economical, meant that long trips could quickly drain the wallet in fuel costs alone. Every stop at a gas station became a grim reminder of just how costly the decision to own this RV could be. Owners who initially dreamed of long, carefree road trips soon found themselves calculating the cost of every mile, often cutting trips short due to the burden of fuel expenses. But beyond the disappointing performance on the road, it was the interior of the 1981 Holiday Rambler Imperial that perhaps caused the most frustration. The promise of luxury was quickly overshadowed by a myriad of issues that revealed a startling lack of quality control. Faulty plumbing was a common complaint. What was meant to be a self-contained, fully functioning living space often turned into a source of stress, with leaks, inconsistent water pressure, and frequent malfunctions that required constant attention. Owners would sometimes find themselves dealing with flooded floors or toilets that wouldn't flush properly, the kind of problems that could ruin a perfectly planned getaway. Poorly constructed cabinetry and interior fittings were another sore point for many owners. The cabinets, which were supposed to provide ample storage and add to the overall aesthetic of the vehicle, were often flimsy and prone to breaking. Doors wouldn't close properly, hinges would come loose, and shelves could collapse under the weight of even light items. For an RV that was marketed as a luxury vehicle, the interior often felt more like a rushed, low-budget project. Many owners found themselves constantly making repairs or hiring contractors to fix what should have been simple, functional design elements. The Imperial's heavy, clunky design not only impacted its fuel efficiency, but also made it a difficult vehicle to maneuver. Parking, turning, and driving through tighter spaces became a stressful ordeal, especially for those unaccustomed to handling such a large and unresponsive vehicle. The driving experience was anything but smooth, with many drivers reporting that the Imperial felt sluggish and difficult to control, especially on winding roads or inclines. This made what should have been an enjoyable road trip a tense and tiring experience for the driver, who had to constantly battle the vehicle's poor handling. On top of these structural and mechanical issues, the 1981 Holiday Rambler Imperial was also plagued by problems that were symptomatic of broader industry shortcomings at the time. Quality assurance seemed to take a back seat to the rush to get these RVs on the market, and as a result, many units left the factory with defects that would later cause owners no end of grief. In some cases, new owners found themselves returning to dealerships within weeks or months of purchase, frustrated by the need for constant repairs and adjustments. What was supposed to be a smooth and enjoyable RV experience turned into a series of costly trips to the mechanic, and the ongoing need for repairs turned what was marketed as a luxury vehicle into something that felt more like a liability. Winnebago is a name synonymous with the American dream of road trips and adventure, representing freedom on the open highways. For decades, the company has been one of the most trusted and recognized brands in the recreational vehicle industry, providing families, retirees, and adventure seekers with a way to explore the country in the comfort of a home on wheels. However, even the most iconic brands can have their missteps, and for Winnebago, one of those was the 1979 Brave model. While the Brave had a strong reputation from earlier years, the 1979 edition left many buyers feeling let down, and in some cases, outright alarmed. The most glaring issue with the 1979 Winnebago Brave was its engine. Designed to be a mid-sized RV, the Brave's size was substantial enough to need a powerful engine that could comfortably handle its weight and provide reliable performance on long journeys. Unfortunately, the engine installed in the 1979 model was severely underpowered for the vehicle's size. It struggled to produce enough horsepower to move the RV smoothly, particularly on inclines or when towing additional weight, leaving drivers frustrated and concerned about its ability to perform adequately on extended road trips. The underpowered engine resulted in a driving experience that could only be described as sluggish. Accelerating to highway speeds was a chore, and the engine often felt strained even under normal driving conditions. This became especially problematic when the RV was fully loaded with passengers and gear, pushing the engine well beyond its limits. On hilly or mountainous terrain, the engine's deficiencies became even more apparent. The Brave struggled to climb even moderate inclines, forcing drivers to downshift frequently and putting immense pressure on the engine just to maintain forward momentum. For many owners, this was a deal breaker. An RV is meant to be a reliable vehicle for long-distance travel, But the 1979 Brave's performance issues turned what should have been carefree road trips into stressful experiences. Compounding the engine problems was the vehicle's braking system, which in many ways posed an even more serious issue. For a vehicle as large and heavy as the Winnebago Brave, a robust and efficient braking system is crucial to ensuring safety on the road. Unfortunately, the 1979 Brave's braking system was woefully inadequate. It simply wasn't designed to handle the weight of the vehicle, especially when fully loaded. The result was a braking system that often felt spongy and unreliable, requiring drivers to apply far more pressure than should have been necessary to bring the vehicle to a stop. This wasn't just inconvenient, it was dangerous. On downhill slopes, the brakes could overheat or become less responsive, creating terrifying situations where the driver had to fight to keep the RV under control. The inadequate braking made emergency stops nearly impossible, leading to serious concerns about the vehicle's safety. For those navigating steep or winding roads, the Brave became a potential hazard, with many drivers reporting instances where they narrowly avoided accidents due to the vehicle's poor stopping power. It's no exaggeration to say that the braking system on the 1979 Brave turned what should have been a leisurely, enjoyable experience into a nerve-wracking ordeal for many owners. The combination of a sluggish, underpowered engine and an insufficient braking system made driving the 1979 Winnebago Brave not just difficult, but downright dangerous. Drivers had to remain constantly alert, anticipating stops well in advance and keeping a close eye on the vehicle's performance, especially in areas where the terrain might demand more from the engine and brakes. This level of vigilance robbed many RV enthusiasts of the carefree, laid-back experience they had envisioned when they bought the vehicle. Instead of relaxing and enjoying the ride, they were forced to grapple with constant concerns about whether the Brave could handle the road ahead. The problems didn't stop at the engine and brakes, though. The Brave was also notoriously difficult to handle on the road. The steering was often described as loose and unresponsive, making it challenging to maintain control, especially in windy conditions or on uneven surfaces. RVs, by their very nature, require a certain level of care and attention when driving, but the 1979 Brave demanded far more than the average driver was prepared for. Its large size, combined with its poor handling and performance issues, made it feel less like a leisurely ride and more like a wrestling match between the driver and the vehicle. For many who purchased the 1979 Winnebago Brave, the reality of ownership was far from the dream they had imagined. The vehicle's shortcomings in power, safety, and drivability quickly became apparent, and what was supposed to be an enjoyable and convenient way to travel became a source of frustration and concern. The 1998 Sun Voyager by Gulfstream was supposed to be a game-changer in the world of motorhomes. Marketed as a luxury RV at an affordable price, it promised the kind of comfort, reliability, and elegance that buyers associated with higher-end models. Gulfstream had built a reputation for crafting RVs that catered to a wide range of customers, and the Sun Voyager was their attempt to make the dream of a luxurious, mobile lifestyle more accessible. Unfortunately, the reality of the 1998 Sun Voyager was far less glamorous than its marketing suggested. While the idea of luxury on a budget was appealing, the execution left much to be desired. The problems with the 1998 Sun Voyager began with its construction. One of the most consistent complaints from owners was the use of cheap materials throughout the RV. The exterior, which was supposed to project durability and style, often showed signs of wear and tear far too early in its life. Panels would fade, dent, or warp, giving the RV an aged appearance well before its time. Inside, the situation wasn't much better. The cabinetry, countertops, and flooring were made from low-quality materials that chipped, scratched, or broke easily. What was intended to feel like a high-end interior often came off as flimsy and poorly assembled. Many buyers were left disappointed by the stark difference between the luxury that was advertised and the reality they encountered once they stepped inside. The appliances in the Sun Voyager, another supposed hallmark of its luxury status, were a frequent source of frustration. Refrigerators that failed to keep food cold, ovens and stoves that wouldn't heat evenly, and air conditioning units that struggled to maintain a comfortable temperature were all common issues. For a vehicle designed to provide comfort and convenience on the road, these failures were not just inconvenient. They made long trips far more difficult and unpleasant. Owners found themselves either constantly repairing or replacing appliances that should have lasted for years. This lack of reliability stood in stark contrast to the luxury label Gulfstream tried to attach to the Sun Voyager, making it clear that cutting corners in the production process had a significant impact on the overall experience. Engine problems were another major flaw in the 1998 Sun Voyager's design. For any motorhome, the engine is the heart of the vehicle, responsible for getting it from one destination to the next with ease. Unfortunately, many Sun Voyager owners found themselves dealing with an underperforming and unreliable engine that failed to meet the basic needs of a motorhome. Breakdowns were far too common, and many reported frequent visits to repair shops within just months of purchasing their RVs. Whether it was overheating, transmission issues, or simple power shortages, the engine problems made it clear that Gulfstream had not invested enough in ensuring the Sun Voyager was road-ready. What should have been a dependable vehicle for long-distance travel turned into a liability, leaving many owners stranded or dealing with costly repairs. One of the underlying reasons for these widespread issues was the apparent lack of quality control during production. It seemed that Gulfstream was more focused on pushing the Sun Voyager into the market quickly, capitalizing on the demand for affordable luxury, rather than taking the time to ensure the vehicle was built to last. The assembly process appeared rushed, with many units leaving the factory with defects that should have been caught in inspections. Poorly installed components, loose fittings, and misaligned panels were just a few of the problems that became apparent after purchase. The lack of attention to detail during production not only tarnished Gulfstream's reputation, but also cost buyers significantly in terms of both time and money. The Sun Voyager's chassis and overall driving experience also left much to be desired. Owners reported that the RV felt unstable on the road, especially at higher speeds or during windy conditions. The suspension, which should have provided a smooth, comfortable ride, was often too stiff or too soft, leading to a bumpy and uncomfortable driving experience. For a motorhome that was supposed to offer luxury, the driving experience was anything but relaxing. Instead of being a home away from home, the Sun Voyager became a source of stress for drivers who had to constantly manage its unpredictable handling and performance. Given all these problems, the 1998 Sun Voyager became notorious for being one of the least reliable motorhomes in its class. What was intended to be a luxurious and affordable option ended up feeling cheap and unreliable. Gulfstream had missed the mark in its attempt to balance luxury and cost, and it was clear that they had sacrificed too much in terms of quality. The Coachman Leprechaun, first introduced in the 1970s, was marketed as a compact and affordable motorhome designed to offer all the essentials of RV, living in a smaller, more manageable package. For many, the idea of a smaller RV seemed perfect, a more economical option for couples or small families who wanted to experience the freedom of the open road without the bulk and expense of a full-size motorhome. However, while the Leprechaun carried the charm of a smaller, more accessible vehicle, it turned out to have far more issues than lucky breaks. Its reputation quickly shifted from a fun and easy travel option to a headache-inducing RV riddled with problems. One of the most immediate drawbacks of the 1970s Coachman Leprechaun was its small size. While compact RVs can be a great choice for those who prioritize maneuverability and convenience, the Leprechaun took that concept a bit too far. The interior was notoriously cramped, leaving little room for comfort or functionality. The small floor plan meant limited storage, tight sleeping quarters, and a general lack of space to move around. For owners hoping to spend extended periods on the road, the cramped conditions made it difficult to relax or feel at home. The narrow layout often left occupants feeling boxed in, and the minimal storage options made it tough to pack for longer trips without sacrificing essential items. The Leprechaun's size wasn't the only thing that felt constraining. Its build quality left much to be desired as well. Despite its appeal as a more affordable motorhome, the cost-cutting measures taken during its construction became evident almost immediately. The materials used in both the exterior and interior were often cheap and prone to early wear. Owners frequently reported problems with the cabinetry, walls, and flooring, which showed signs of wear after only a short period of use. The RV's construction felt more like a temporary solution than a long-term investment. Doors and drawers would come loose, windows would leak, and the overall structural integrity seemed questionable. Over time, this lack of durability translated into frequent repairs and maintenance, which is the opposite of what most RV owners hope for. Beyond the cramped space and subpar build quality, the 1970s Coachman Leprechaun was also plagued by a series of mechanical problems that made it difficult to rely on for long-distance travel. Engine troubles were among the most common complaints. Owners reported frequent breakdowns, overheating, and general underperformance from the vehicle's engine. For an RV that was designed to provide mobility and adventure, these mechanical failures were a major source of frustration. The constant threat of an engine malfunction made even short trips stressful, as owners were never sure when or where the next problem would arise. The lack of power in the Leprechaun's engine also contributed to poor performance on the road. The small, underpowered engine struggled to keep up with the demands of driving a fully loaded RV. Hills in particular posed a significant challenge, as the Leprechaun's engine would often strain to maintain speed on inclines. Acceleration was sluggish, and maintaining highway speeds could be difficult, especially when the RV was packed with gear and passengers. This made driving the Leprechaun an exhausting experience, as the driver had to constantly compensate for the vehicle's limitations, whether navigating through traffic or climbing uphill. Compounding the mechanical failures were ongoing electrical issues, which became a common theme for owners of the Coachman Leprechaun. The electrical system in the vehicle was notoriously unreliable, with frequent malfunctions affecting everything from the lighting to the onboard appliances. Wiring problems often led to flickering lights, blown fuses, and the failure of essential components like the refrigerator or heater. For an RV that was supposed to provide a self-contained living space, these electrical failures made it feel more like a rolling disaster than a home on wheels. Owners found themselves constantly troubleshooting electrical issues, often requiring costly repairs to keep the RV functional. The electrical and mechanical problems were exacerbated by a general lack of quality control in the production process. It seemed that Coachman, in their effort to offer a more budget-friendly motorhome, cut corners in ways that significantly affected the overall reliability of the Leprechaun. The assembly process appeared rushed, with many units leaving the factory with defects that should have been addressed before the RVs ever hit the road. Loose connections, poorly installed systems, and misaligned parts were just a few of the issues that became apparent after only a short period of ownership. The Pace Aero name has long been associated with high-end motorhomes, marketed as a premium choice for RV enthusiasts who want luxury, comfort, and performance on the road. By 1995, Fleetwood, the manufacturer behind the Pace Aero, had built a strong reputation for quality, making the model a popular choice among those seeking a luxurious RV experience. However, the 1995 Pace Aero did not live up to the standards set by its predecessors or the expectations of its buyers. Despite its high-end branding and price tag, the 1995 model was riddled with problems that left many owners feeling disillusioned and frustrated. One of the most significant and widespread issues with the 1995 Pace Aero was its unreliable electrical system. Electrical problems are not uncommon in RVs, but in a motorhome marketed as a luxury vehicle, owners expect a higher level of quality and performance. Unfortunately, the electrical system in this model was fraught with malfunctions. Owners frequently reported blown fuses, flickering lights, and a general lack of reliability when it came to the vehicle's electrical components. More alarmingly, there were frequent issues with the RV's power distribution, affecting essential systems like the refrigerator, heating, and ventilation. These malfunctions were not only inconvenient, but also costly to repair, especially since many of the issues required professional attention to fix. For an RV that was supposed to offer a worry-free, high-end experience, these electrical failures turned what should have been relaxing road trips into nerve-wracking adventures full of uncertainty. In addition to the electrical issues, the air conditioning system in the 1995 Pace Aero was notoriously problematic. For a motorhome designed for comfort and luxury, reliable climate control is an absolute must, especially for those traveling through warmer regions. Unfortunately, the air conditioning units in this model were prone to breakdowns and inefficiencies. Many owners reported that the units would stop working after just a few hours of use, leaving the interior of the RV unbearably hot. Even when the air conditioning did work, it often struggled to maintain a comfortable temperature, especially in larger areas of the motorhome. This lack of reliable cooling not only made it difficult to relax, but also posed a serious problem for those traveling in particularly hot climates, where a functional air conditioning system is essential for safety and comfort. Another significant drawback of the 1995 Pace Aero was its interior layout, which left much to be desired. While the RV was marketed as a spacious, luxurious home on wheels, the design choices made inside often felt impractical and cramped. The layout seemed poorly thought out, with awkwardly positioned furniture, narrow walkways, and limited storage space. Many owners found it difficult to move around the interior, especially when the RV was full of passengers or packed with gear. The kitchen area, in particular, was a source of frustration for many, as the countertops were too small and the appliances felt cramped together. For those who planned to spend extended periods in their motorhome, the lack of usable space made daily life inside the RV more challenging than it should have been. The bathroom and sleeping quarters also drew criticism for their lack of comfort and functionality. The beds were often described as too small and uncomfortable, with poor quality mattresses that did not align with the luxury image of the RV. Storage around the bed was also minimal, making it difficult for couples or families to store personal items in an organized way. The bathroom, while functional, was far too small for the size of the RV, and many owners felt that the shower and sink areas were cramped and difficult to use comfortably. These design flaws left many owners wondering how much thought had really been put into the interior planning of the vehicle. Mechanically, the 1995 Pace Aero also faced its share of difficulties. Owners frequently reported issues with the engine and drivetrain, which affected the vehicle's overall performance. Many found that the RV was sluggish when accelerating and struggled to maintain speed on inclines. For a large motorhome, having a powerful and reliable engine is crucial for safe and stress-free driving. But the 1995 Pace Aero fell short in this area. And there you have it, the 15 worst RVs and motorhomes in U.S. history. These vehicles may have promised adventure and freedom on the open road, but instead they delivered headaches and frustration. If you're shopping for an RV, make sure you avoid these models and learn from the mistakes of the past. Have you ever owned one of these infamous RVs? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more automotive stories.